Hey guys, this is a bonus episode of the podcast. This weekend on Saturday, July 22nd, is Toughest Mudder Los Angeles on CBS. The episode of the podcast you're about to hear was recorded immediately after Toughest Mudder LA. If this is the first episode you've heard and you're finding us because of the TV show, welcome. If you heard this episode back when it first aired, well, you're welcome too. This is the first time we've tried this rebroadcast thing. We're obviously doing it to tie into the TV show and to try and get more information for the people that just caught the TV show. I am curious to hear your thoughts on it. Let me know at willhicks@gmail.com. Don't forget to watch Toughest Mudder LA on July 22nd at 4 o'clock Eastern and Toughest Mudder Atlanta on July 30th. Check your local listings for exact times in your area. And if you enjoy the podcast, please leave us a review on iTunes. I would appreciate it. This is the world's toughest podcast. Welcome to the world's toughest podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's world's toughest mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the world's toughest podcast. How awesome was Toughest Mudder Los Angeles? I ran Tougher on Saturday morning, and then I ran Toughest on Saturday night at midnight, and running Tougher was a mistake. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But this weekend was great. Good job, Tough Mudder. Good job, volunteers, and everyone who was out there. It was just an amazing experience. If you've never done World's Toughest Mudder is the closest thing you can get to the atmosphere, the camaraderie, just the feeling you get in the pit and out there on the course. It was a great weekend. I had a blast, and I'm looking forward to Atlanta and to Chicago and to the other events coming up. Before we jump into all the Toughest Mudder stuff, I just want to talk about the weekend as a whole. Phoebe Breimer from Obstacle Racing Media caught up with Will Dean on Saturday morning. Will Dean is the co-founder and CEO of Tough Mudder.
This is the first of the new toughest events that we're doing, and 500 people doing this qualifier for World's Toughest, so hats off to the team. And then we got the Tougher happening today as well, so that's the race wave that goes off before the first. Tough Mudder isn't about douchebaggery, you still have to help everyone. You won't see any burpees at our event, if you know what I'm saying. It's going to be a big day, and we look forward to hearing from the community as to what you think of all the new stuff we're doing, and we appreciate the feedback, and you guys make it possible, so thank you.
So just a quick recap, if anyone doesn't know, Toughest Mudder is an 8-hour race. It starts at midnight, finishes at 8 a.m. It's held on a 5-mile looped course where you do as many laps as you can in those 8 hours. There are 2 loops on Toughest Mudder. The first loop runs from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. The second loop runs from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. So let's talk about the elite winners, male and female, and then get into the actual course. For the men, Ryan Atkins won first place with 50 miles. Chad Trammell won second place, also with 50 miles. Glenn Rax came in third with 45 miles. For the women, Lindsay Webster got first place with 40 miles. Sarah Knight got second place with 35 miles. And Allison Ty got third place also with 35 miles. Let me just talk a little bit about each of those 6 podium finishers, because we're probably going to see more from each of them as the toughest season continues. Ryan Atkins, you probably already know his name. He's the most decorated world's toughest mudder athlete. The only person who would probably come close to him right now is Amelia Boone, and she's been out injured for over a year, although she's coming back this year. Ryan won the 2016 World's Toughest Team Championship with 105 miles. That's the one that they got a $100,000 bonus, he and his partner John Albin, for crossing 100 miles and winning the team event. He was also the 2015 team champion with 80 miles. He was the 2014 male solo champion with 95 miles. And he was the 2013 male World's Toughest champion with 100 miles. And until this year, Ryan was the only guy to complete 100 miles at World's Toughest. In 2016, several other guys did it. That's another story. In second place this weekend was Chad Trammell. Chad won the 2015 male solo championship with 95 miles. That's the year that Ryan moved over to the team category. Last year, 2016, Chad got second place in the team category with his partner, Robert Killian. They were also chasing that $100,000 bonus for hitting 100 miles. Chad actually hit 100 miles, but Ryan and his partner got 105 miles, so they got the bonus. In third place at Toughest LA was Glenn Rax. Glenn doesn't have a big World's Toughest or Tough Mudder resume, but he's done real well in Spartan racing. He got first place at the Spartan Beast in Southern California last year. He also got first place at the LA Spartan Sprint in December of 2016. One interesting race that Glenn was in was the Riverside County Battle Frog race last August. He finished second to Ryan Atkins. On the women's side, Lindsay Webster got first place. Lindsay has a surprisingly thin World's Toughest resume. 2016 was the first year that she ran World's Toughest Mudder. Up till this past year, she worked as Ryan's pit crew, helping him win. This year, 2016 was the first year she ran. She finished with 60 miles. But she dominated the Spartan race circuit last year. I haven't said it. Most of you already know, Lindsay Webster and Ryan Atkins are married. So they are a kind of a package deal. Sarah Knight got second place at Toughest LA. In 2016, Sarah got 50 miles. But in 2015, Sarah got 70 miles and finished in second place, only to Amelia Boone at World's Toughest Mudder. Allison Ty got third place at Toughest LA. Allison got 70 miles at World's Toughest 2014, finishing in second place. Again, second place to Amelia Boone. She participated in World's Toughest 2015, didn't do as well as she did in 2014. And in 2016, Allison got 75 miles at World's Toughest, which was good for seventh place. So in 2014, Allison got 70 miles and got second place. In 2016, she got 75 miles, but it was only good for seventh place. So that just shows you in 3 years how far the women have come as far as pushing the mileage. But then again, in 2012, Amelia Boone got 90 miles, finished second place overall, and was 8 minutes short of beating John Young Pack and getting first place overall. So what am I talking about? The women have always been strong. If you were not out there this weekend, you had basically two options for following along. You could watch Tough Mudder's Facebook page, and they had a lot of live updates during the day. Or you could watch Obstacle Racing Media's Facebook page, and they had a lot of updates during the day. I know Matt's going to talk more about Toughest this week on his podcast, and he had two people out there, Drake and Phoebe Breimer, were both covering Toughest LA for Obstacle Racing Media. I didn't see any of the other major OCR websites out there. In fact, I was just looking at other websites this morning, and there's not a lot of coverage of Toughest outside of Obstacle Racing Media and podcasts like mine. Overcome and Run. I saw Jay and Heather Bodie out there. I got to talk to them for a couple minutes. It was pretty cool. I know Philip Levi from the Obstacle Order podcast was scheduled to be out there. I didn't see him or get a chance to talk with him, but we texted before the event. So if you want to know more about what happened out there at Toughest, I check those podcasts out, Overcome and Run, Obstacle Racing Media, or the Obstacle Order. I've got a few sound bites from Tough Mudder's live feed, as well as from Drake and Phoebe's Obstacle Racing Media coverage. To hear the entire segment or watch the videos, go to obstacleracingmedia.com, go to toughmudder.com, or go to Tough Mudder's Facebook page and Obstacle Racing Media's Facebook page. Up first, Tough Mudder tracked down Chris Mendoza at the end of the race. Chris Mendoza finished third overall at World's Toughest 2016 with 100 miles, earning an orange jacket.
The course was brutal.
Worse than Worlds?
Yeah, way worse. So I would say actually the first loop was kind of comparable because they changed loops at 4 a.m. I got through 25 miles on that one, felt good. And then that second loop was just hills and hills and hills.
How did King of Swingers feel once it changed over?
You know, I didn't get it till my third try, but I loved it. I thought the rope was going to at first, when I saw before, I thought that once you grabbed on to the, I don't even know what to call it. Netting. Yeah, I thought it was just going to carry you. But then when I got up there, they said, no, you have to get onto the rope and then traverse down.
Right.
So
not as easy as
you would think. You really gotta, be intentional about it. It was awesome, though. I loved it. No, I even think the first loop was more hilly than Worlds.
I think so too. And there's not as much flat land in between, so it's like you get down to the bottom of a hill and you're going right back up another one.
I felt pretty broken in the middle of it. It's just a different kind of race. You're just pushing a lot harder for 8 hours, and that last lap I hurt a lot.
And then right after Tough Mudder talked to Chris, Drake from Obstacle Racing Media caught up with him too.
Christopher Mendoza
is a really nice guy, which is probably why.
What would you like to say to Keith right now?
I hate Keith. Actually, no, Keith, you're gonna love this. Out on course, I'd run by people, and they would start rapping, how much tough could a tough a mudda tough? And I was like, really? This is what it came to? But I would finish it for you, and then other people would be singing your song, the Christopher Mendoza song. It actually kept me going. It was pretty funny. Thank you, Keith.
Tough Mudder caught up with Josh Cox at the finish line, and while they were talking with him, an old friend popped in.
I am feeling appropriately tired.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I'm feeling like I'm proud that I did it.
8 hours or something?
Yeah, a little something like that. I think, eight and a half now at this point?
How many laps did you do?
I got 4.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
How'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you get?
I got 1 more mile than you. No, I didn't get 25. Did you get 25? No, I got 20. You got 20? Yeah. Look at us.
Wow.
That's so us. Yeah, let's kiss and celebrate.
That's not, actually. It's good. Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel good now. It's over.
You guys look like you have a ton of energy for
now.
what just happened.
We don't come back out.
Yeah, now we're like, yay!
Celsius.
And I just said,
Yeah. When I'm feeling down on energy.
Hey, but thank you very much. Thank you. That was awesome.
Favorite obstacle?
I forget it already.
Actually, I really. As much as I hate calling, I really enjoyed it today.
That, of course, is the Tough Mudder famous Carlo Piscatello, half of the Piss and Cox show. While Tough Mudder was asking Piss and Cox what they thought about Arctic Enema, another old friend popped in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that hurt. That hurt.
The worst ever.
I was like, you guys, there probably won't be that much ice in there. It's cool.
Yeah.
And we got to the top, and I was like,
we saw someone go in, and then when they went out, the whole of ice went. And we're like, no.
No, that hurt. That hurt my head so bad.
How are you?
Oh, great.
How you feeling?
Yeah.
We got the whole crew here.
Good job, baby.
That was hard.
Good job. What'd you get?
25. Oh, but did you have fun?
Well done.
Who's a contender? Who's a contender?
I can't believe it. It was a lot of fun. The second half of everything was really hard.
Ridiculous.
I tried to attach my
everybody's showing up now.
But we all finished.
You're gonna be glad we're gonna. The bibs this year for World Stuff is gonna be.
You know what? That's the only reason I wanted contender was a freaking
I'm really excited.
I gotta go to Chicago.
These are cool. They're gonna be a lot cooler than that.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Very cool.
That, of course, was Sharkbait, who you heard in episode 001 of the World's Toughest Podcast, and Nolan Campbell, who you've heard in several episodes of our podcast already, who works for Tough Mudder headquarters. Tough Mudder asked Sharkbait what her favorite part of the course was, and Cox would not go away.
On the second loop, after operation, it was beautiful. It was like downhill running in these ravines and the sun coming up. It was beautiful.
Awesome.
It was beautiful.
My favorite part was finishing with you of the whole thing.
Coach got a hold of the microphone, and he asked Chad Trammell, the second place overall male finisher, how he felt. Chad said that was the hardest thing he's ever done.
The hardest thing I've ever done, including World's Toughest, man.
Right? Harder than World's Toughest?
Yeah, just trying to hold off Ryan with everything I had, but man, he is so strong. It was a great battle with him, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
You could hear all those beeps while Chad was talking. Chad was near the finish line, and that's where the timing mat is, and every time someone crosses the timing mat, it beep, beep, beep. So that's what that noise was. Familiar from World's Toughest to you, perhaps. Tough Mudder tracked down Stephanie Bishop, who was in the pit area. Also, I saw her driving around on a golf cart with some guys from Team HQ. She had a traffic cone and was shouting encouragement to everybody. She told me and Josh Cox and our little ragtag crew that we looked like I think she said a badass team of superheroes coming down the mountain. So, Stephanie Bishop.
It was really exciting. It's a very different event from World's Toughest Mudder and from regular Tough Mudder. It's actually really fast paced, and people I was seeing them, we were running in and out of the pit, sometimes not even pitting. Very unique, very different. It got pretty cold out there. Every minute counts, and not only that, is that when the course changes over at 4 o'clock in the morning, the two loops were very different and very distinct. So if you were hovering on that border, you probably wanted to get out as fast as you could to get one more loop in of that first course.
Yeah.
Stephanie, of course, is the female winner of World's Toughest Mudder 2016. She put up 85 miles for her first place. She and the male winner, Trevor Sykos, did not run this weekend at Toughest LA. They're both going to run in Atlanta in about 4 weeks. So that'll be a good, fast race. Should be exciting to see. I will be there in Atlanta. Matt B. Davis will be there in Atlanta. So Matt and I have already agreed that we're going to start a rivalry. And I will be the Magic Johnson, and he will be Larry Bird. Or I will be Tom Brady, and he will be the Atlanta Falcons. The next few clips are from Tough Mudder's feed. From the podium, Nolan Campbell asked Chad Trammell what happened after he hit 50 miles. And was he thinking about Ryan Atkins?
It was just a matter of hoping that he didn't have anything left, and it was just the opposite. He just crushed that last lap. He looked stronger there than I saw anyone out on the course all day on his last lap.
The men's race at the end was incredibly close. Chad Trammell left the pit for his final lap. He'd finished 45 miles. He was going out for lap 50 to chase that $5,000 bonus for getting 50 miles and winning the race. So Chad left. Ryan came into the pit. They tell Ryan, Chad left 11 minutes ago. He's 11 minutes in front of you. So Ryan basically just books out of there immediately. Ryan ended up finishing before Chad. He got his 50 miles before Chad got his 50 miles. He finished 9 minutes ahead of Chad. They both had an incredibly fast last lap, but Ryan's was just blazing. So it'll be good to watch this on TV this summer. Nolan was interviewing Ryan on the podium, asking him about what happened when Ryan came in after his 45th mile before he headed out for his last lap.
You just completely brushed me off. I said, Ryan, I want to let you know where you stand, what your options are. And you blew right past me. You ate a bunch of gummies. You went back on course. Yeah, well, sorry about that. You actually said, do you have a minute? And I said, no. I just tried to run that last lap as hard as I could. Well, the last 3 laps progressively faster. And Chad just kept keeping this lead, and I'd be like, how far is he? Like, I've been pushing so hard. And he's like, he's got 20 minutes on you. And I would be like, ah. But I just kept, honestly, I just kept, like, believing that, if I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, like, maybe I could catch him. And I never lost that belief. And that was, like, the hardest part, like, mentally out there. So, yeah, it was an amazing race. And I think everybody who experienced the first Toughest Mudder can, we're all part of something, like, historic here, and it was incredible. So thanks a lot for putting it on.
This is the second time in 4 months that Ryan Atkins has narrowly beat Chad Trammell and taken the bonus prize away from Chad. Chad and his teammate Robert Killian both completed 100 miles at World's Toughest 2016. But Ryan and his partner, John Albin, completed 105 miles at World's Toughest 2016, so they got the $100,000 bonus prize. Chad completed 50 miles at Toughest LA this weekend, but Ryan completed 50 miles before him, so Ryan got the $5,000 bonus prize. Nolan talked about the budding rivalry between Chad Trammell and Ryan Atkins.
This is the start of something that's going to be very exciting throughout the season. I'm sure this is not the last time we're going to see this showdown, whether it's on a cliffhanger on the back end of a course or on a straightaway somewhere, maybe in Atlanta, maybe in Philly. We'll see you guys. I don't know, but I'm excited to watch it progress, and I think we all are. So congratulations again.
The co-founder and CEO of Tough Mudder, Will Dean, came up front to present Ryan with his prize money. He had a large commemorative check for $5,000 for winning first place, and then a second large commemorative check for winning the bonus prize of 50 miles in 8 hours.
Yeah, so I'm getting very used to writing checks for this, man. It seems to happen every time we meet. So we have two for today. So, of course, here we have the one for the overall winner. So, again, big round of applause for that. And then on top of that, we have another $5,000 that I need to write a check for being the first guy to hit 50 miles as well. So big round of applause. I'll hold this one for you. I promise I'll give it to him later. He has two hands. All right, you want to take the second one?
They gave the podium finishers the chain with the large 1, 2, or 3, first, second, third on it that they gave out this last year at World's Toughest Mudder. They also gave them a finisher stein, which is those large glass beer mugs that they sell, but they had a first place, a second place, and a third place on the side of the stein, and they filled it about a third of the way up with orange juice. And then they gave Ryan and Lindsay, who both won first place on the center step of the podium, a bottle of champagne. They each had a bottle of champagne. So then Nolan talks about the importance of tradition to Tough Mudder, and then they make some mimosas.
You know we love traditions here. It's a big community. We like to make it special. We like to make it unique, whether it's the world's weirdest obstacles or the world's weirdest podium traditions. Let's bring you guys up. So we think it's fitting that you guys start your morning off with a good morning beverage. So I know it doesn't feel like morning for the rest of you, but we've got a whole set of participants who are about to run Tough Mudder who have no idea what we're doing here. So let's show them what we're all about. Let's shake up the bubbly and make some mimosas. That's what we're all about.
I have to drive here for it, like right now.
And we get a big cheers to close out America's Toughest Mudder West and your champions this year. Looking forward to an amazing season. Thank you, everybody. You're all incredible overnight. I don't think I've seen a harder course than this, and you guys absolutely dominated it. So well done to you. You definitely earned it, all of you.
And then they proceeded to spray champagne on everybody within 30 feet of them, which was a lot of people. There were people with cameras out, and CBS was there, and it was cool. It was a cool experience. So if you run Toughest in Atlanta or Chicago or wherever, make sure to stick around at like 8:30, 8:45 afterwards and watch the awards ceremony. We're going to talk more about Toughest Mudder next week and like every week coming up. Atlanta is in 4 weeks, and then there's 4 more Toughest after that. We'll be talking about them all year long as we lead it to World's Toughest in November. So I ran my last lap of Toughest LA with Josh Cox and with some other guys. There was Colleen Anderson, her brother Sean Anderson, another guy named Tim. I don't know Tim's last name, but he was there all lap with us also. And it was a blast. It was a great time. It was like the best of what you do World's Toughest Mudder for. Josh Cox has an almost encyclopedic knowledge of late 90s boy bands, and we were testing that. We were just walking, and you just kind of get lost. You're thinking in your head, and I hear in the middle of a conversation that Josh is in, where he goes something like, "Yeah, well, I think that J.C. Chazé, Chris Kirkpatrick, Joey Fatone, and Lance Bass need Justin Timberlake a lot more than Justin Timberlake needed J.C. Chazé, Chris Kirkpatrick, Joey Fatone, and Lance Bass." And it wasn't just that he knew all the members of NSYNC, it's that he knew their names, and he knew how to pronounce like Chazé or Chazez. I don't even know. But from there, it was just all Backstreet Boys and 98 Degrees and O-Town all the way down. Let's talk to Josh Cox. Josh Cox, thanks for taking my call.
Dude, thanks for giving me a call, man. I mean, it's an honor, it's a pleasure, and I'm just glad I don't have to wear pants for this.
What did you think of Toughest LA?
Dude, all right, well, hey, so, like, how much can I cuss? Because that's immediately what came to mind, you know what I mean? Like, that was just quick
sure.
to the crotch. is what it was, dude. They rabbit punched you with hills, and it was if that was the course that you had to do for Worlds, it would have been insanity. You know what I mean?
Right. How many miles?
What do you think of? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask you how many miles you got.
The miles I got was 20, and I'm super happy with that. That was a hard-fought 20.
It was in 8 hours.
In 8 hours, yeah, I went the whole time. It was, that was my number one goal, to be honest, was just to go the whole time. I was fine with whatever mileage I got as long as I didn't stop. So, bam.
How many miles did you get on the first loop versus the second loop?
Oh, dude, it was all front-loaded. It was 15 there, and then that last loop, it was just the one. But I was stoked on the one lap because it was when, of course, they hit you with all the super terrible stuff that they're like, oh, you're tired? Here you go. Here's your grip strength. Let's test that out. And I was pumped that, I was able to make it through it. So I didn't have to do EST. That was my highlight.
I did have to do EST as I could not make it through Kong.
Dude, I watched you, and you looked like a muddy gazelle. I mean, it was beautiful. I wish that I had it in slow-mo. You know?
I've been watching videos to see if anyone got it, but no one did. If you have to go through EST, wearing a wetsuit and a hood and gloves is probably the best way to do it.
Oh, no kidding, right? Yeah, you might as well just be rubberized and like a superhero.
The fun thing about the last lap that you did, or that we did, was that we got to do it together.
Honestly, that was the highlight, man. It was, you're not nearly as terrible as everyone told me, you know?
Nobody knows who I am.
Dude, yeah, that's what you think, dude. Yeah, nobody knows who you are. Are you kidding me? We're on course. And someone walks right past me and goes, you're the one that does the podcast? Like, yeah, that's what it is. And so, yeah, people know who the hell you are, Will. Yeah. I'm not even on Facebook, and I've been awaiting this call.
What was your favorite obstacle out there?
My favorite obstacle. Honestly, my favorite obstacles were probably the Funky Monkey and Kong and all that, but because I was still able to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And do it well. So it was one of those things that as we were leading up to it, I was kind of like, all right, let's see how the body's holding out. Because I'm tired, but I feel pretty good. And so that's why they were my favorites. When I got there, I was able to do it, and I was feeling pretty stoked. Although, after Funky Monkey, the volunteer, he immediately looked at me, didn't see me do it, but looked at me right after I did it. And he goes, you're dry. And I'm like, don't be so surprised, asshole. I'm not Jesus, man. I made it. I did it. So I thought it was funny.
They had Kong immediately after Funky Monkey. So. Yeah,
because it's tough-ist and not toughish, I guess. And they were like, let's just really make them hurt.
And something else, you're talking about the hard obstacles on the back half. I think it's going to be like that at every toughest because you know how the course, it was the regular Tough Mudder course, a 10-mile course split in half, right? Well, a regular Tough Mudder course is now, this year, going forward, is the first half of it is the Tough Mudder half course. And that's where all the easy obstacles are, or the easier obstacles. The only hard obstacle on the first half is Berlin Walls or maybe Block Nest Monster. All the hard stuff, Stage 5 Clinger, Funky Monkey, those are all going to be in the back half every single time.
Yeah, well, you know what, and I kind of dig that. It makes you, you have to strategize, and I think that was one thing that not a lot of people were anticipating until push came to shove, was that there really were a lot of diversion and transition points. And so it makes sense that it's set up like that for efficiency. But, the byproduct is, you have to really strategize your race or, it could go a terrible direction.
Another strategy thing, the Berlin Walls were set up really difficult. They call them hero walls, where there was a shelf coming out off the front of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't find this out until later, but there was a penalty option for that, which was basically just walking alongside the course for a quarter mile.
Yeah, I found that out too at 9 a.m. That's all he had to do? I didn't know that.
That would have been a much better option.
No kidding. Although I was stoked about it just because, I'd never done those on a Tough Mudder course. So when I got there, I was like, all right, let's see what you got. Little mini Stage 5 clinger.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun when they throw something new at you.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, and I think that's something that Tough Mudder's been pretty good at, is that, taking the stuff that's we all know and love, but adding enough newness. So you're like, all right, I'll keep coming back. Show me what else you got.
What did you think of the variation on King of the Swingers?
Dude, that tripped me out because I had no idea. And so, like, the first that I heard of it or had seen it was when I got to it. And then it just reminded me something straight out of American Ninja Warrior. It was, I thought it was hard. I couldn't do it. I rang the bell. I grabbed the rope. That was as far as I got.
You want to describe what it looks like for people who weren't there?
Oh, yeah. So what you're doing is you're jumping onto essentially a trapeze bar. You're about 15 feet up or so. And you got to do this long arch swing. And at the top of the swing, you have to grab this rope. It's essentially a dangled cargo net. You got to grab it, and then once you grab onto that rope, you've got to shimmy down the tightrope essentially that's going from the top of the swinger set to the ground. And it looks like something out of not only American Ninja Warrior, but like a prison escape movie, that was immediately what came to mind. I'm like, this is some Alcatraz shit. Let's do it. And then I didn't do it.
You were pretty close though. I saw you grabbed the rope, or you touched it at least.
Yeah, no, I had it grabbed, and then my Clydesdale body's momentum said, not a chance you're hanging onto that thing. So it was like one of those, like, yay! Because when I had it for that split second, I was all, yeah, I'm the best. And then all of a sudden, splash, I'm the worst.
The thing about that is there's no graceful falling from that obstacle. You're flailing.
Dude, no kidding. So, like, what comes to mind with that is that when I grabbed the rope, you could hear everyone, because of course everyone's watching, and you could hear everyone go, yeah, nice. But it was at that moment that I let go, and I just fell, like, flat on my face and shoulder. And as I'm underwater, I'm like, that wasn't nice, you guys. That wasn't nice.
Oh. That was great. I touched the rope also. Like I feel like my first hand grabbed it, but I couldn't get my second hand around in time, and it was not
that's
graceful.
Another one where it's like you gotta kind of like, all right, give me another shot. Like I wish that I would have had another shot, and I could have, but I'll put it to you this way: I wish now that I'm not there and can easily be like, man, I should have done it again. I wish I would have done it again.
Right.
In the moment, not a chance.
What was your least favorite obstacle?
Oh, dude, I feel like since we did the last lap together, that you would know. I'm curious, what do you think my least favorite one was?
I'm going to guess Arctic Enema.
Dude, you are so right. This is ding, ding, ding all the way. Dude, and I know I was a baby about it. Dude, we were coming up to it, man, and I'm just like, just get this Arctic Enema over with. I was the one begging for hills, just trying to warm up.
Right.
That is just so cold. That was why. That was it.
We were trying to convince the volunteers that the TMHQ had closed the obstacle and just hadn't told them yet.
Yeah, dude. And it was one of those instances where it's like confidence didn't work in our favor.
No.
Like usually you can like confident, like you just go up to the volunteers like, oh yeah, no, they said it's closed down. They just let us know. And, we just want to let you guys know. Like, oh, okay. No, these guys are sticklers. Assholes. They saw right through us.
We were standing on the platform, and someone went right before you and I, and they went down.
Sean Anderson's sister.
All right, tell about the ice. What happened with the ice?
And so Sean Anderson, another world's toughest vet and local guy to the area, his sister goes in, and you could see the ice was so packed that it's already creeping up the tube. And she goes in, and you could see the hole where she had submerged herself. And then so much ice was packed into that thing that hole just started to close back up. And within 3 seconds, it was just back to all ice. It was so ominous because usually at stuff like this, there's so much activity that you get to it, and so much body heat's gone through that the ice is kind of melted, and it's not all that bad. This was not the case, and it was it was so physically difficult already, and then it was just one last final mind fuck before you Yeah, that's what happened with his sister.
It looked like something out of a horror movie almost. Like dude, it had swallowed her up, and it was like claiming the spot.
Dude, yeah, and you just see her like head underwater, kicking, just trying to get under that final board. You're like, "There's some serious stuff about to go down," and then she made it through, and you're like, "Oh, now I got to do that." Oh, okay, good.
And it was cold. Oh man, it was cold. Like, I mean, it's always cold. But
it was immediately like, usually it's like Arctic enema isn't as bad as I'm thinking it's going to be. You know what I mean? Do you experience that where you're like, okay, that's not bad?
Yeah, you shake it off and you're kind of smiling afterwards.
Yeah, you're like, okay, yeah, I got that out of the way. This was like, nope, that was every bit of what I didn't want it to be, and now I'm currently living it, and this too shall pass.
How did you start the event at midnight? How did you go? How fast did you go out? How did that go for you?
It went really well. First and foremost, because I beat Carlo in the sprint lap. So let's all just take a moment and enjoy that. So devil's advocate to that, though, is Carlo ran that morning and I didn't. So he had more tired legs. But whatever, I still beat him. You know what I mean? I did an hour, I think, something like that.
Okay.
So it was good. Yeah, I wanted to make sure, beat that rolling time start deal, which actually, starting out in the wetsuit, when they opened up Block Nest, that couldn't have come soon enough because I was burning up, and I'm like, oh, thank God for this water obstacle.
Yeah. It was hot the first, maybe 45 minutes, it seemed like, with the wetsuit on.
Oh, dude. For me, it was the first 2 hours, if not more, where I was just constantly in and out of my wetsuit. Mm-hmm. I definitely would have had, is that a 5mm? I would have had a less millimeter wetsuit if I were to do things different.
Were you wearing a full or a shorty?
Full. Yeah, I was wearing a full. So shorty would have done some justice too. But I tell you what, though, I was glad to be burning up as opposed to freezing. I'll take that, the position I was in.
Mm-hmm. How did you do pitting?
I did okay, and the reason I say that is because I had more fun than I should have if I wanted to be serious about getting that 25 miles.
Right.
Because looking back at the first few pits, I kind of dicked around, and not in any other way other than just, it was cool to see people and talking with people. And, hindsight, I probably wasted a good hour. No, not an hour, maybe a half hour of just kind of, taking my time. And so I did okay. My pit strategy and my nutrition and all that went the way that I wanted it to go. But looking back, if I would have been quicker, I could have hit the 25. But I don't say that with regret. You know what I mean? The flip side is I had a blast.
Sure.
So, I can't really complain about having fun.
Are you going to go to any more Toughest?
I thought that was going to be it until I did it. And it was not only fun and challenging, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I don't want to get 25. I would like to do that. So after this one, I'm looking at Chicago. I really want to do Chicago. And so if I can get my finances in order and figure that out, get a plane ticket early and all that jazz, then Toughest Chicago, faux show.
What do you think the best part of the weekend was?
All right, so I'll get the cliche quick answer out of the way. The people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's always good to see everybody. So we got that. That's the default. And I mean that sincerely. For me, a really big highlight was actually spending time with John and Taylor Glines. They're in the Worlds community, and a lot of y'all know who they are. Touch base with them, and they had a crummy little hotel, and they said that I was welcome to share it with them, and it was really cool spending the majority of the downtime with them just because we have the same energies, and that was a huge highlight for me. And Taylor running her first Tough Mudder too, so that was really rad.
Her first Tough Mudder was a Toughest?
No, okay, yeah, no, I'm glad you clarified that. So she actually pitted for her dad and Laura Foster, and she was there helping me out, and then she ran Sunday Tough Mudder. Okay. So, I mean, she was up all night and then went and ran her first event. So that's a little, it should be like a headband and a half. You know what I mean?
What do you think Tough Mudder needs to work on for Toughest, or things they can improve?
The transition aspect, it was interesting, and it definitely made you strategize and made it different. And there's probably all sorts of reasons why, that they put it this way, including what you said of, the first half is the Tough Mudder half and all that. But it would have been nice to have it be just one solid loop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 1 5-mile loop instead of half and half.
Right. And I don't know if that's necessarily an improvement as much as it is an opinion. Mm-hmm. But it just, there were certain points where it was a little bit confusing. It felt like an Alice in Wonderland sort of course where you're like, I kind of don't really know what's happening. I'm just going to go where the arrows and volunteers tell me to go and do the obstacle if they say to, and don't if they don't, so
right.
That was something that resonated. So, yeah, and a bunch of other stuff, but, I'm still tired from the event, man. You're getting half me with no coffee.
Did you see the award ceremony at the end?
No, and I'm bummed about that because it was something that I wanted to see, and then I just, the swirl of the whole thing, like I just forgot. I'm like, oh man, I want to get some breakfast, and I didn't. Did you?
I did. It was great. It was actually really well done. Ryan and Lindsay had champagne bottles. They shook up and shot corks like 30 feet into the crowd, and that's a true story.
Yeah, oh man, I did miss it. Hey, dude, that reminds me though. Can I tell a little story about Ryan Atkins?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. Okay, and so this is a story that is 100% me, and he has no idea that this happened. But so we're finishing, right, all of us, and you're about to do EST, and Ryan Atkins is about to finish his race. And so all of a sudden, these cameras are swarming all around. And, in my head, I'm like, you guys, I'm not ready. But in reality, it was Ryan Atkins coming. And so he's coming up, and you could hear Sean on the microphone being like, and Ryan Atkins is coming in, everybody. He's about to fit in, doing the Sean Corvell thing. And I'm standing there like, oh, my God, this is a golden moment. And I, for about 10 seconds, which felt like an eternity, had the worst time debating whether I should run in right behind Ryan Atkins or not. And I wanted to so bad, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to be that guy, have it backfire, and I'd rather wait for y'all who we finished the lap with. But I had that moment where I'm like, this could be my moment of drafting off Ryan Atkins' glory.
Let me tell you my Ryan Atkins story from that almost exact moment in time. 5 minutes before your story happened. Okay, so I failed Funky Monkey. You passed Funky Monkey, right? So I'm having to do the Funky Monkey penalty while you're kind of hanging out. And as I do the Funky Monkey penalty, I'm heading up to Kong. I'm not exactly sure how it happened. You and I were split up right there, but I was all by myself, right? And I'm walking because I'm just beat, right? Well, as I'm walking toward Kong, I hear Sean doing his thing. Ryan Atkins is coming around the corner. He just finished Funky Monkey. He's approaching Kong. And I'm like, crap, that's right behind, like literally, he's like 50 feet, 100 feet behind me. And I'm like walking, staggering. I see all these CBS cameras. There's like 6 people. I'm like, shoot, I gotta run now. So I start just jogging, like, And here comes Ryan Atkins right past me, 6 cameras following every movement he makes. And I'm like, the cameras keep going with him, and I stop running. I'm like, all right, I can walk now.
Dude, that is hilarious. You're like, so many cameras. Just like Eye of the Tiger starts going, and then they're gone, and you're like, oh, thank God.
So, yeah, this summer, coming to CBS Sports, if you see me running, that's the story behind it.
Yeah, if we see you looking just super glorious and fresh, you're like, that was it. For that 3 seconds, that's all I had. I thought, too, like, as he was running in, how great it would have been if I, like, sprinted past him. You know? Just a moment of, like, yeah, I beat Ryan Atkins, even though he laps me, like, 5 times.
Yeah, he did 30 miles more, but no biggie.
Yeah, but whatever. I beat him on that lap. Yes. Yeah, no. That was cool. It was cool seeing, like all those guys on course that are just so elite, and they were still just rad the whole time.
Yeah.
I love that about Tough Mudder in particular. You don't get that in all the OCRs.
Are you going to Worlds?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Dude, I'm a sucker, man. Your friends jump off the bridge. I got to get that Holy Grail.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I ran Tougher with Carlo on Saturday morning, and there were only like 40.
Oh, I didn't realize that you ran it too.
Yeah, well, I say ran with, the liberalist definition of the word, but...
Hey, you were there, man.
I was present at Tougher on Saturday morning. And there was like only maybe 50.
Did you complete it?
I did. Oh, yeah, I did. There were only...
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, North. There were only 50 people in that starting wave, or less, maybe a few people less. So I thought...
Oh, really?
Yeah, my thought was that there's going to be, thousands of people are going to do Tougher, and then of those thousands, like, several hundred will do... I thought it was going to like funnel down. It's like a ton doing Tougher, then less doing Toughest, and then 1,300 doing World's Toughest. But it seems like, unless the Tougher registrations pick up, that that's going to be the limiting factor for people getting their Holy Grails.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting to kind of keep up with, see if it picks up steam.
Maybe toward the end of the year, like people are like, I want to get it.
Yeah, especially the more that word gets out, the more events there are. Yeah, I'm sure that it'll be back half loaded for sure. The more people start to realize, like, oh, you got to do that to get a Holy Grail. I kind of want that now.
Right.
Yeah, it was like Carlo and I were saying on our last web show of, it better not be a plastic Mattel shovel.
Mm-hmm. Hey, speaking of, you guys just debuted season 3 of your YouTube show.
Yeah, it was fun.
You got kind of a new gig working for Tough Mudder, like a once a month thing. Carlo told me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't quite, working for is a liberal term, but yeah, we're hopefully going to be doing a few more live streams in the future, and we want to kind of the whole goal and what we're trying to feel out is do a more appropriate version of community talk, or like a coffee talk kind of deal. And so, something that has a few less craftness, and we save that for our actual web show. And so you get kind of Jekyll and Hyde a little bit. You're going to get your grandma's piss and cocks for the live stream, and then you're going to get your grandpa's piss and cocks for the web show.
Where can people see more of Josh Cox?
YouTube, AnytimeFitness.com, my website, TimeToRebel.com, ObstacleRacingMedia.com. They're the ones who put our web show out. So if you just YouTube ORM Piss and Cox, you'll find plenty of us and of me, and have fun with that. Which, by the way, I'm really glad that we're doing this. Did I tell you why?
No, tell me.
Because I'm doing a podcast with Matt B. Davis on Thursday, and I just really wanted to work out the kinks. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, be really good for him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just get the crappy stuff out of the way and just be fresh for Thursday.
Are you seriously recording with him this week?
Yeah, no, I actually am really recording with him. But it's actually something that's it's not really specifically OCR related. And I don't know how much he shared about what we're going to do on Thursday, if anything at all. But it's actually going to be very personal. And we really are recording on Thursday.
Okay, cool. Well, no, let's see. So it's going to be on his regular Obstacle Course Racing Media podcast feed?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. And so people can look for that in the next week or two?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whenever he gets that out, just depending on his schedule.
Awesome. Well, cool. I'll look forward to that. And check it out, obstacleracingmedia.com, and search iTunes for Obstacle Racing Media and find Matt B. Davis's podcast.
Yeah. The only reason I think he's doing it is because I was like talking with him the other day, and I'm like, I'm going to be recording with Will Hicks, and he's like, oh, you want to do something on Thursday? You know what I mean? So thanks, man.
Yeah. Happy to.
I'm just kidding. That's not what happened at all. I'm just giving you shit.
Josh Cox. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah. Let's see. Man, I'm easy. I just want you to have some good stuff. That's all I care about.
No, I appreciate you taking the time, Josh.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. I've been genuinely looking forward to touching base with you on this ever since Carlo told me that you guys got together.
Special thanks to Josh Cox for appearing in this episode. Thanks a lot, Josh. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, could you do me a favor? Could you leave us a review on iTunes? Nova Storm did. They said, very energetic host, asks all the right questions and keeps the conversation flowing and relevant. Thank you, Nova Storm. We'll have more Toughest LA content coming. Thanks a lot, you guys.